Hi guys. Hello, hello. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Happy beginning of a completely new decade in the 20s. 2020. Super exciting. I wanted to open up this month's videos by addressing 2020 and some of the more common aspects that we're going to see about 2020, just so we're all a little bit more informed, okay? So, to start off in regards to 2020, this is a very practical year. I think that's what I would call 2020, just as a general summary. It's a very practical year. Okay. And the reason for that is because we have a lot of Earth energy, a lot of planetary energy going on in the sign of Capricorn. We have Jupiter, we have Saturn, we have eclipses, and we have quite a few eclipses this year too, by the way. We have the South Node, we have Pluto going all through the sign of Capricorn. So, for those of us who like to make New Year's resolutions, this is a great year to actually carry those resolutions through. So, you know how sometimes it is that we have all these aspirations of all these things that we want to do, whether it be like a fitness routine or a diet or all these New Year's resolutions that we have, and you'll notice that sometimes throughout the year those can kind of trail off, or we can get sidetracked or whatever else, and so that way sometimes New Year's resolutions can kind of turn into a little bit of a joke after a while. This is really not a year where those New Year's resolutions are a joke. This is a year where you can actually have the willpower and the steadfastness and the consistency to keep up with some of those things that you're wanting to bring into your life. Right at the end of 2019, and we're talking about December 25th and December 26th, we are going to have an eclipse in the sign of Capricorn that's kind of going to give us a little bit of a feel of what the upcoming year is going to be like. And it's just going to give us that extra push that we need to start some of those things that we've had in the back of our mind, that we've been wanting to do. But for some reason, there's been, oh, I don't have enough time, or like, oh, I can't really fit that into my schedule, or I don't have the motivation to do that, or that's not possible with my family's schedule and all this other going on for me to do that, to pursue that. Oh, I can't afford that. There's all these things, there's all these doubts been going on in our mind about why we can't pursue a goal or something that we've been really wanting to do, something that we know that would be good for us, right? So this eclipse coming in on the 25th on the West Coast, and more on the East Coast is going to be more like, possibly on the 26th, but right around there. Some people are already feeling this energy. I know I am. And it's like that push to really start something new and get rid of any kind of self-doubt talk that we've been telling ourselves in regards to starting new goals, in regards to starting to be motivated to take on certain routines, certain healthy routines. And that's what 2020 is really about. So when I call 2020 a practical year, it's about forming healthy boundaries, healthy routines, and something that you're able to consistently do, right? Something that's feasible, something where you can do it on a daily basis, right? Starting a new routine, a new cycle, and being consistent with it, putting in the hard work with it. So another mistake that we make in regards to New Year's resolutions is that we're so gung-ho about it. And I'll give you an example, right? Diet. Diet is a huge New Year's resolution where people, tend to start to fade out a little bit throughout the year and fail to be consistent with it. And part of the reason that is because we go into it and we're too extreme. we're too extreme about it, right? We want quick results. We're so gung-ho about it that we just want to jump in and we take it too far to where it becomes unrealistic and unattainable. Okay, so I really want to caution you about that in the upcoming year, 2020. Like I said, I'm going to call 2020 the year of practical, being practical, right? Doing something that's realistic, starting to change certain habits, little things that you can do, little routines on a daily basis where, it's not obtainable, right? It's something that you can keep up with. It's something that you can continue to do and get yourself into good habits moving forward. Really crucial, really crucial. And you know what? That also takes planning. I would have to say that for those of you who are more kind of like fly by the seat of their pants, spontaneous, go with the flow, let's just see what happens type of people, this might be a difficult year for you. This type of energy is asking you to focus on and to plan. And quite frankly, I think this is an excellent year to start out a new decade, because if we're making healthy changes and we're thinking practically and we're slowly working towards our objectives, then that is a good foundation to start for what we want coming up for the next 10 years. Okay. So where do we see ourselves 10 years from now? Okay. Where do we want to be? What are some goals that we have? And what can we do on a daily basis? What kind of routines, what kind of changes can we make in our routines to slowly work towards achieving that goal? And that's really what it's about. Capricorn is really about consistency and putting in the work and putting in the time. And it's really obtainable this year in 2020. The other thing I think that's really important to bring up to you guys in regards to 2020 is it's not a time to be frivolous, okay? It's not a time to be frivolous with money. If anything, it's a time to work on perhaps like saving money, paying off debt. I wouldn't suggest using credit cards this year if you can prevent it. I would consider, if you can do it, possibly paying off debt if you can, paying off those credit cards. I just wouldn't do a lot of acquiring of new debt this year. This is a year more where you are working on being more self-sufficient, right? Instead of relying on creditors to be able to help you live the kind of life that you feel like you want to. This year is about working with what we already have. Okay, so not necessarily about, just, being flamboyant and like a kid in a candy shop saying, oh, I need a new vehicle, or, oh, I need this, or I want this. It's really about taking a look at what you have, being satisfied with what you have, being appreciative with what you have, and being able to use what you have and your current abilities to be able to produce something more. So there's also a lot of creativity that comes into this year when it comes down to that. So yeah, not a great year to be frivolous with money. And instead of living over and above our means, we need to think about even maybe living even a little bit below our means, right? Where can we save money on our finances? Where can we nip and tuck a little bit? Can we start using coupons for grocery shopping, right? What kind of extras are we getting in regards to groceries that we really don't need to get? How can we save some money on some monthly bills, right? Are there ways that we can save money there? Things like that. Can we afford to put even like $10 a month into a savings account? Anything is better than nothing. And I'm referring to myself in that way as well, because I have some kind of issue with saving money. It just like, I'm just like, why? It seems like a waste, but it's not. It's not. This isn't in preparation for becoming more self-sufficient, right? So for example, when it comes to finances, you could take a simple thing like, you eat out every day for lunch, right? You don't bring your lunch to work. You go out and eat out. So let's say you spend an average of $10 every day. Okay. That's $50 a week. That is $200 a month. that you're spending on eating out, which, quite frankly isn't the most healthiest option. All right. So there's the health aspect of it. And the financial aspect of it is ridiculous. That's ridiculous. It'd be so much cheaper for you to go to the grocery store, pick out some healthy options for your lunch, and get into a healthy routine and a healthy habit of preparing your lunch either the night before or that morning and taking your lunch to work and saving $200 a month, right? And in the process, probably improving your health. Let's be honest. It's that type of thing, right? Do we need to be spending $7 on a Starbucks coffee every morning? No. The answer is no. You don't need that. Is that a little luxury? Is it okay for you to go get a Starbucks once in a while? Absolutely. No big deal. I'm talking about those daily routines that we get ourselves into and really taking a look at that and really taking a look at the way that we're spending. In regards to refinancing your home or refinancing your car, those big loans that you're thinking, when you're in the mindset of, saving money and becoming more self-sufficient in the year 2020, a lot of people will consider refinancing. Be careful when it comes to that. Just make sure that the sometimes your loan officer or your lender is not going to focus too much on the fees that are taking place. In order to do that refinance, and you don't really notice it that much because it's kind of tacked onto your loan. Make sure that, that's great if you can refinance and get less of an interest rate or lower payments or whatever else. Just make sure that the fees that are being charged for that refinance don't go over and above what you're saving. Okay, because that kind of defeats the point, right? Doesn't it? So make sure in regards to finances also that you're getting like a couple of different opinions, right, or a couple of different quotes, right? Do your research. It's really important to follow through and do your research this year, even if you have professionals like professional financial advisors or professional doctors. Make sure that you're doing your research and being accountable for those decisions, being accountable for your health, being accountable for your finances. Yes, we hire professionals because they are know more than us about these things, but it's really important to be informed and make sure that those decisions are coming from you and they're not being dictated by someone else. Okay. So yeah, let's talk about health. Health is a big one. We all know like a lot of people have those New Year's resolutions, like I'm gonna get in shape. I'm going to go to, the gym. I'm going to start eating better. Eating better is a great aspiration. It helps us feel better. It gives us more energy. So, think about considering to eat more unprocessed foods this year, right? It doesn't have to be like a specific diet, right? That has a label to it. To simplify all of that, if you're eating unprocessed, natural, whole foods, the chances are, number one, you're going to lose weight, and number two, you're going to feel fantastic. So, it doesn't have to be so complicated. We don't have to label everything and try to find the right diet and all that stuff. Just, buy fresh produce, guys. Buy meat that, that doesn't have a bunch of added antibiotics and hormones and stuff like that in there. So you don't have to, get into this little game of rules unless that specifically helps you to do that. The other thing is, again, this is about consistency. So I don't necessarily recommend just completely jumping into something and completely like eliminating any type of food group. You want to be diligent where you're slowly starting to work in and allowing your body to get used to a new diet. The same thing goes with exercise, okay, you guys? You probably shouldn't go from like not exercising at all to saying, I'm going to exercise, 7 days a week. Number one, you're going to get sick. Have you guys ever noticed that? Like when you're like totally like amped up and ready to go to the gym and you start working out a lot, like a lot of times like people will get sick, and it's just because your body's not used to that. So instead of like putting your body in total shock, not to mention that if you haven't been exercising and your diet hasn't been the best, we have that a little bit of a lower immune system going on there. And if you're going to a gym, yes, I understand there's smoothies and you can wipe down everything, but there's a lot of bodily liquids going on there. I know that sounds really gross, but gyms can be very virus and bacteria prone just because a lot of people are in there sweating. We're just going to be frank about it. So, I mean, there's a lot of work you guys can even do if you're just starting out with an exercise routine. Instead of going and spending a bunch of money on a monthly gym membership, we have access to so much information online, you guys, with like Pinterest and Google and everything else. You can simply look up exercises to do at home. I mean, if you're just like really kind of starting to exercise, or if you're restarting to exercise, a lot of times you don't need equipment. You don't need machines. You can use your own body weight to do those type of exercises, and listen to some music at home and do some cardio. If you are the type of person who has the motivation to exercise at home. I know a lot of people, including myself, have a hard time. It's like once we get home in the evening, especially like if it's dark during the year, it's like, who wants to come in home and exercise? You put some like comfies on and you're done. So if that's the case, and you have a lot of stuff going on at home and you feel like you need to go somewhere specific for that being your time. So really good to get into health routines this year. I also suggest, even if you're feeling great and you have no reason to go to the doctor, I highly suggest you get those preventative annual exams. I highly suggest that you get a basic blood panel done, right? I mean, I went and got a basic blood panel done, and I was feeling I was feeling fine, right? I didn't really have any other issues. And my blood panel came back and it showed that I was like anemic, like really anemic. And I didn't understand that. I didn't really understand what anemia was. I thought that was for like, skinny, pale people, but it turns out that a lot of women suffer with anemia, not even knowing it. So I had to start taking iron supplements, and the change that made in me in regards to my energy level, in regards to the way that I'm able to obtain information, is huge. It's phenomenal. And I never would have known. I never would have known if my doctor hadn't requested a general blood panel. So, I highly suggest doing something like that. Be preemptive with your healthcare this year. Go in, get checked out, see if you've got all the vitamins and that you need, and that you're getting the nutrition to stay healthy and energetic in order to achieve all of these good goals that are coming in for the year 2020. So let's talk a little bit about 2020 and its possible effect on relationships. I think that 2020 is going to be very eye-opening in regards to relationships, and here's why. Everyone's going to have their own specific goals, right? Things that they've been putting off that they suddenly have the energy and the motivation to achieve. So, in regards to partnerships, it's great to sit down with your partner and go over some specific things together, and see if you're on the same page as far as where you see yourself going as a couple, as a family within the next 10 years. Where would you like to be? And see if you can kind of sync up and see where you are together as partners, to see how you're going to accomplish this, and little things that you can do every day to maybe save a little bit more money, or just different things that you can do. But the important aspect of that is sitting down and sharing with each other, where, and not enough couples do this, right? Where are we going? And what can we do to achieve that? And the reason I say it could be eye-opening is because you and your partner, you guys might have a completely different idea in mind about where you want to go or where you see yourself. I mean, your partner could be completely satisfied with things just the way they are, but you're wanting a change, you're wanting something more, or you're wanting something different. So again, very eye-opening to sit down with your partner and go over those things. The other thing that's going to be very eye-opening in the year 2020 is we not only have goals that we want to accomplish as a family unit and as a partnership, but we have, again, those personal goals that each of us on an individual basis are seeking to accomplish. So, what's interesting about this and what I love about this aspect is it kind of, I really feel like it's kind of going to break down some of those codependent relationships. I tell you what, guys, I have seen such a rise in codependent relationships. It's making me really, really nervous. It's not healthy. It's not good. My personal perspective is one of the reasons why people are getting into more and more codependent relationships is because the fact that there's a little bit of a loss of face-to-face interaction and communication and community in general, right? We have advanced so far technology wise. I mean, how often do we really actually even talking to someone on the phone, right? A lot of things, even with family, are through text, stuff like that. So we're missing and definitely not kind of a breakdown of community because everything's so easy to do technologically. There's not as necessarily as much like human interaction, one-on-one human interaction, and we're missing that. I'm going to be quite frank with you guys. We're missing that. So even though technology is very convenient, I mean, it's a way for me to get this video out to a lot of different people are able to see it. Great. There's great aspects to technology, but we are missing a little bit of that human one-on-one contact, and it's essential. So what happens with codependent relationships is we don't have a bunch of like one-on-ones as much as we did before. And so we are having this one-on-one interaction on a regular basis with one specific person, right? That's where we're that and that specific person is feeding that interaction that support that we would have been getting from a group of people. Now it's just one person that we have that daily in-person interaction with. And so it's very easy for two individuals to rely on each other so much because it's like, you know, that's what you just do, right? And it's easy to do that in their lives. And I understand when you're in a partnership, of course your lives are combined and there's compromise and working together and you're living your life together. But it's so important to keep those individual goals and those individual things that make you who you are. I mean, so many couples get so wrapped up in each other and what's going on in each other's lives that they literally forget who they are and what their niche is in the world, what they're here to do. And they forget themselves, and it's really unhealthy. There's usually in these codependent relationships one person who is a whole lot more needy than the other person. So, for instance, if one person does have a little bit more individuality, knows where they want to go, has the energy to accomplish those things, and you have another partner who isn't quite so sure of themselves and doesn't really know what they want to do with life and doesn't understand what they want or what kind of future they see for themselves, they are more likely to latch on to the person who produces that type of energy because they don't have that for themselves. And it's not fair to either side because for the person who is trying to get things done and does have personal aspirations for themselves, they're so busy walking on eggshells and taking care of the other partner, and everything revolves around the other partner, that they don't take the time and the initiative to do those things for themselves. Okay, and it's not healthy for the other person who's codependent because they need to be able to stand up on their own and come up with their own energy and come up with their own solutions. You can't. Here's the thing. If you go into a relationship or if you are in a relationship relying on your partner to make you happy, to complete you in some way, you're going to be sorely disappointed, okay? Because that's too much to ask of someone. It's not that I'm saying like, as a partnership, the thing about it is you're supposed to lift each other up, right? You're supposed to support each other. But you're also supposed to be able to stand up on your own two feet because your partner also needs you to be the strong one once in a while, right? Your partner, even though they might seem very strong, also needs to be able to lean on you. So it's very mutual. And so it's really important to get into a relationship being a fulfilled person on an individual basis. I want to touch on something else really quick while we're on this subject. Moms. Moms, you guys are really, really bad. Not all of you. That's being stereotypical, but moms are nurturers. That's what they do, right? They're always taking care of everybody. Please, please, please set aside some time for yourself this year to create some of your own individual goals. And when I'm talking about goals, I'm not talking about goals for your family. I'm not talking about goals for your kids. I'm not talking about goals for your spouse. I am talking about specific goals that are specifically for you and have absolutely nothing to do with anyone else. Okay? I hope that you guys are hearing me when I say that. It's very important. I'm noticing a lot of, people around my age and friends my age are having their kids are going off to college, and they are like having some serious like empty nester syndrome. They don't even know what to do with themselves because their whole life has revolved around other people, so much to the fact that they don't even know who they are anymore when their children are not in the picture. Okay? Take care of yourself, because here's the thing: as a nurturer, if you're constantly giving, 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 and you're not taking time to refill your cup and refill your energy and refill your creativity, eventually, it's almost like there's nothing left to give, right? You're depleted. So in order for you to be the type of wife and mother that you want to be, and really, take care of people the way that you need and want to take care of them, you've got to take care of yourself. Super important. Here's the other, and that's what's going to lead into the other eye-opening thing when in regards to relationships. Especially if you are in a codependent relationship, right? So you and your partner need to make time and compromise in regards to personal goals that you have for yourself. An example, right? One partner decides, hey, I really need to work on my fitness. I need to start exercising. I need to schedule in some time for myself to do this, right? Well, if you have kids or you have a partner, that takes compromise, right? Because it might change the schedule a little bit. Say you want to go to the gym 3 days a week, right? Right after work. Okay, so that might require your partner to maybe pick up the kids, or maybe get dinner started or something like that. Something that allows you to be able to go to the gym 3 days a week. Okay, so there's a little bit of compromise there. And vice versa, because your partner hopefully will have their own things that they want to do as well. So it's going to take a little bit of compromise on your part for your partner to be able to fit that in. Okay, here's the thing. Here's the eye-opening part of it. Here's the twist. Your partner can either be really supportive and be excited of the fact that you want to, do something healthy for yourself, and they're willing to compromise with you, and they're willing to do what it takes for you to meet your goals and uplift you and be what a partner is essentially supposed to be, a partner, right? Or the flip side, especially in codependent relationships, is that you are going to find that your partner is very unsupportive, that they don't like it because it interferes with their schedule. They don't like the fact that you have something going on that has nothing to do with them. That's a very codependent thing, right? If you start to notice that your partner is overreacting because maybe you decided to go back to school this year, you've been wanting to go back to school, and you're spending a little bit more time on homework, and you're having to spend a little bit more time going to classes. And that time is specifically for you because you've decided, hey, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and finish that degree I've been wanting to finish, right? If you have a partner that is not supportive and that's complaining that you're not spending enough time with your family and that you're not spending enough time with him or her, it's going to be kind of eye-opening, right? in regards to someone just being a little bit selfish that way because they're used to getting all of your attention. They're used to getting all of your energy, so to speak, right? And that change is going to make them very uncomfortable, right? That's like a control issue a little bit. So keep your eye open for stuff like that. Keep your eye open. Just take a look at the way that your partner's reacting to some of the goals that you're bringing in. Like I said, I feel like this is going to be a very big exposure year for codependent relationships, like where you're like, whoa, something's a little bit off here, you know, which quite frankly is good. I'm sorry, it's not like I'm wanting anyone to have relationship problems or breakups or anything like that. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. But I think there's going to be a little bit of a realistic aspect come in this year in regards to, you know, equality in relationships and what's fair, right? Yeah, so super important to focus on that if you're dating this year, if you want to, if you want to find a partner this year, if you're single and you're looking for a partner. Again, just make sure that you and that partner, whatever kind of relationship that you're getting into, you know, have kind of similar goals and aspirations that you're wanting to reach towards this year. Because again, it's going to be very difficult if you have a partner where those goals don't align. It's going to cause some conflict. If you're single and you're not looking for a relationship, this is an excellent year to really focus in on things that you've been wanting to do, on your health, on your finances, and really working on fulfilling yourself. And so that way, when you are ready to get into a relationship, that you come to that relationship as a whole person. Let's dip back into finances again. I forgot to mention to you guys, not a good year for gambling, not a good year for risky stock investments, not a good year for risky anything. It's just a good year to settle in. Property is another earth type of thing, right? So not a good year to necessarily say, oh, you know, I'm sick of my yard. It doesn't look good. I'm going to hire a landscaping company to come in and redo the entire yard. If you already have the funds set aside to do that, and this has been a goal for a while, and it's not going to affect you financially in any other way, go for it. But if it's like a spur of the moment type of, oh, let's have someone come in and just redo all of this, right? Especially if you're going to put it on any kind of a credit, not a good idea. This is more about like hard work and working with what you have. So if you don't like your yard, I can tell you again, there's so much information available on the internet in regards to DIY projects. You know, specifically, there are so many different materials that you can buy that are cheaper, and it's about putting in the physical work and the physical labor, right? There are so many things that we can do to improve our property and do it ourselves. And maybe it takes a little bit longer. Maybe we have to, you know, put in more work on the weekend on specific things, watch sales, you know, on specific products and stuff like that. You know, watch videos on lawn care and specific plants or whatever that thrive in your zone, in your area. But yeah, I mean, you can do a lot of that yourself, guys. It's all about really taking what's available to you and working with it. Again, if you're trying to up the value of your property and you decide, I'm going to go get granite countertops, right? Make sure you're really taking a look at every aspect of that. Take a look at the comps in your area, at what the other houses in your area are selling for, because you might decide to put all new high-end appliances and granite countertops, and you're thinking that's gonna like up the equity of your house or your property so much, but in reality your property value is also very restricted to what the house is selling around you are, you know. So again, if these are things that you've already put money aside for, you've already saved for, it's a plan, it's something that you're already doing, and you know that it's not going to put any kind of a financial burden on you, and or you're planning on staying in this house and it's just something that you want to do for, you know, because you want that, because that's a personal thing that you're wanting, go for it. I'm just saying, be a little bit frugal this year, be a little bit smart about what you're doing and where you're spending your money. So again, really, really dynamic year to really get some things done. And let me tell you what, when you start all these healthy daily routines, and you see yourself succeeding at them, your self-esteem is just going to like go through the ceiling, you guys. When you're able to tackle something you've been wanting to do, and you have the motivation, and you put in the consistency and the hard work, and you start to see some of those things come into to fruition, there's something that's so rewarding about that, and so satisfying about that on such a deep level. So I highly encourage you, and I have been encouraging you guys for the last couple of months, to take a look at what's no longer serving you, right, in the past year. Focus on what you want more of, and also add to that, looking towards a little bit longer term. Where do I want to see myself, and what are the daily things that I can incorporate in my life in order to get there? I have to mention that this type of energy brings a lot of change, okay? I know. I know that some of us aren't the best with change. It's intimidating, it's scary, we don't know what lies ahead. You guys, this year has a lot of change coming in, and that is going to continue. That is going to progress. So you're going to see a lot of change going on this year all around you, right? Just in society in general. Try to remain focused and positive about your personal goals that you're pursuing, and don't get so caught up in fear, all right? And the fear of change, and the fear of what you see happening around you, and the fear of what's going to happen in your personal life, because that disempowers you. It disempowers you. And so for those of us who have difficulty with change, and who like to just keep things the way they are, this could potentially be a very difficult year. Again, for those of you who have trouble planning and sticking to a routine, and this, you could even see some type of crisis this year. Here's the flip side of this energy, in regards to, relationships, in regards to being spontaneous and being frivolous. You could possibly see some type of crisis for that type of lifestyle this year. So that's the flip side of this energy. If you are, kind of fly by the seat of your pants, and you're not planning anything, you could feel like you're just running on a treadmill this year and nothing's getting done, okay? Because this year is really focused on putting in the work, and making the plan and sticking to it, and that consistency, all right? Again, a lot of change, just try to deal with it, you guys. It's going to happen regardless of whether you're prepared for it or you like it or not, okay? It's just one of those years, and it's a good time that this is coming in, that this is preparing us. There's one of the reasons, there's a very good reason why this energy is coming in, and it's coming in at the perfect time, at the beginning of this decade, okay? What this energy is trying to help us with is trying to help us become more self-sufficient, okay? There's an independence a little bit to this energy. And it's all in preparation, okay? We have, at the end of this year, at the end of 2020, we have Jupiter and Saturn moving into the sign of Aquarius. So what does this mean? Basically, let me break it down for you this way. For 200 years now, we have had these planets be in Earth signs, all right, in Taurus, or these are, and so the focus has been, or where the power has been for the last 200 years, has been on earthly things like machinery and coal and fuel, and that has been where the money has, and the power has been in those kind of industries, right? We are moving into Aquarius at the end of 2020. You might not see changes right away, but I have a feeling, it's going to happen pretty quickly. So what that means, in the next 30 years or so, we are going to see more of a breakdown of hierarchies. right? Higher governing bodies or corporations, right? Or just there's going to be a breakdown of that, because the people are going to demand it, right? People just in general, like planetary wise, are getting really sick and tired of being dictated to, okay? Following rules and regulations or even societal standards that really have nothing to do with them, right? Hey, there's this rule and regulation and it's in place for a certain reason, and I get that, but it's really not me. It's really not doesn't really do anything for me. It's not good for me, and I don't want to do this. Okay? So you're going to start to see people in the next 30 years really kind to try to move away from hierarchies that are constricting their freedom and constricting their ability to live the life the way that they want to live it. Okay, so what happens when these hierarchies or these corporations, large corporations, start to get the feeling that people are doing that people are moving, are moving away from that, and they're just kind of like, not paying attention to it anymore. What you have, what happens is you have those hierarchies and those corporations and those higher powers really, really starting to put in even stronger regulations, even stronger rules, because they feel like they're losing control. So we're going to start to see this, like say, so if you work for a big corporation, you're going to start to see, your corporation start to really put some high standards and regulations and, really do this, do this, do this. And what's interesting about it, and this year in particular, it's going to start like this in 2020, where people are just going to say, I'm tired of living paycheck to paycheck, and I'm going to look for a way to see if I can make some extra money. Maybe I'm going to do a side job, or maybe I'm going to take whatever my hobby is, and however I'm being creative, and maybe I'll make a little bit of money on it on the side, right? You're going to see a lot of that this year. A lot of entrepreneurs coming into the scene, very, very much Capricornian energy. And, as it turns out, I mean, maybe that little hobby that they thought was only going to be a little bit of extra money with the work and the diligence and the consistency that they're putting into that this year could eventually turn up to be their like source income, right? Where they don't even have to work for a corporation anymore. They can work for themselves and work their own schedule and run their business the way that they want to run their business without having to be dictated to. So you're going to see a rise in entrepreneurship for sure. Especially in the next decade, because again, people are just kind of getting tired of being told what to do. They want to live their lives by their own standards. We're starting to, as society in general, think a little bit more outside of the box, right? What works for you might not work for me. And it's especially when it comes to those societal norms, like, oh, by a certain age you need to be married and, have kids and the white picket fence. And some people are like, you know what? I don't want kids. Or, you know what? I just want a little cabin out in the middle of nowhere. That's what I want. Or, I'm okay being single. People are just, I feel like enough people are living like this where you don't have those as much of a societal pressure on you to be living your life a certain way, in a way that doesn't particularly work for you. So, we're going to see a lot of that in the next 30 years as we go into the age of Aquarius. Okay, so this year has a lot to do with the preparation of being more sufficient, not needing creditors, not needing loans, because we've figured out to live within our means and not live over our means in a way that we can afford to live simply and live happily, and not owe our life to a corporation or a company or a bank or anyone else. Okay. So really exciting times coming up. Again, a lot of change, a lot of things being brought up, a lot of, things that we've been telling ourselves that are incorrect or just negligent are going to change, and we're going to be changing our perspectives on what we feel is a healthy way for us to move forward into the next decade. Really exciting stuff. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get to your monthly readings for the month of January. Hi, Aries. Hello, hello. Happy January. Happy New Year. I'm excited. I'm excited to see what this month and what this year holds for you guys. I did something a little bit different this month. I went ahead and pre-shuffled and pulled the cards for you for the month of January in an effort to save a little bit of time since the intro to this video was super long, longer than I intended. So without further ado, Aries, let's take a look at the cards that I pulled for you for the month of January. So the first card out, we have the King of Pentacles. Card below that is the Ten of Rods. Next card is Major Arcana, the Moon card. Card below that is Major Arcana, the World card. Next card is the Three of Pentacles. And the card following that is the Six of Cups. So, Aries, interesting reading for the month of January. I have to say that so far in the readings that I've done, this one is actually probably the most interesting so far. I still have a few videos to record, but definitely intriguing. The two Pentacle cards that are in this reading really stand out to me. It's in regards to financial or property, and maybe they're standing out because this is such a earth-oriented year. You know, if you watched the introduction part of the video, it's very much about financial matters and property matters and tangible things, right? I feel like that's kind of on your mind a little bit in the month of January, Aries. So let's break it down. Let's see what you're up to. So first card, King of Pentacles. So this is a king who has it all together, who really knows what he's doing in regards to finances. He knows how to get what he wants property-wise. I mean, he's the master of earthly, tangible things. He knows how to make good plans that encompass all the details. He knows all the action steps to take in order to achieve success in those areas. And I think that's what you guys this month, the impression is for me, is that that's what you guys are really striving for. You are working towards financial, property, security, prosperity. There's a sense of wanting a little bit more security, I feel, with you guys. You're really trying to work towards this in the month of January, or you have been trying to work towards this. In fact, actually, I'm going to say this. I'm going to take that back. You have been working towards that. You have been trying to be the King of Pentacles, trying to make plans, working really hard, honestly, Aries, working your butt off with the Ten of Rods. Okay? This is like a heavy burden to bear. I just feel like you guys have been working really hard. Okay? I'm going to tell you this in regards to the Ten of Rods. You know, this guy's carrying like heavy rods on his back. But here's the cool thing about tens. Tens are a culmination of, right? They're the highest level of the suit cards in regards to wands. And they typically mean the end of a cycle, okay? So while that culmination might be currently hard to deal with, and you might be feeling like you're carrying or have been carrying a really heavy burden and working a lot, I think you guys have been working really hard towards trying to achieve some kind of goal, okay? Whether it be career wise, property wise, but I do feel like it has something to do with that. And with the next card, this Major Arcana card, you guys are feeling a little bit disappointed right now. You guys are feeling a little bit disappointed. You're tired of being the Ten of Rods, and you're just tired in general, okay? Some of you might even feel like you're kind of running on a treadmill, working your butt off to get somewhere and try to achieve something, and it's just not going anywhere. The Moon card is a card of disillusion, right? It's a card of like, when you think about it, at nighttime and the moon's out, yes, if the moon's bright enough, it can kind of, show you a little bit of things. You get a glimpse of like a bush here, and you kind of have an idea of what's going on. But the path in front of you is kind of shaded, right? So you might be able to see the path directly in front of you. It's lit enough to where you can see it, but you're still not able to see the outcome. Where does the path go, or what's ahead, right? It's very much a card of feeling like there's a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of uncertainty, and that's hard to deal with, especially if you're working so hard to achieve something. Some of you guys might be working really hard in order to think that, hey, I'm going to get some kind of promotion, or trying to work up to the next level, right? Trying to achieve the goals of the King of Pentacles, trying to have more financial security. Um, you know, you guys are just, I know I keep on repeating the same thing, but I can just see you working so hard, and with the Moon card, kind of feeling like, is this going anywhere? Where is this going? How long is it going to take? What is it going to take? Because I'm tired. I don't know if I can do this much longer, right? It's like not seeing that sense of accomplishment that you're wanting. Interesting enough, Aries, right underneath the Moon card is Major Arcana, the World card. So here's your answer right here. You guys are going to succeed. This is the card of triumph, and this is the card of ending of cycles. So you guys definitely will be coming into your own. So it's okay if there's a period if you guys are going through a period of uncertainty. Keep on going, keep on working hard. You guys are almost there, and you guys are going to be getting the answers that you've been seeking and that you've been looking for. You're finally going to get recognition for work hard done, or for hard work. You're receiving recognition. The end of this cycle, the end of the Ten of Rods. Something is going to come into culmination, and the world is very much about finishing up a project or finishing up a major theme in your life, so that you can start a new one, so that you can progress. So for any of you who have been feeling this sense of stagnation and an unsurety, and you've been thinking to yourself, why am I continuing to do this? This is not going anywhere, and you're getting frustrated and you're tired. I get it. But I want to assure you guys that if you keep at it, just hold in there a little bit longer, Aries. I know you, of all people, have the strength to do that. You know what it's like to carry a heavy burden. You do it all the time. Does that make it fair? No. Of course it doesn't make it fair. But the reason that you guys have to deal with that all the time is because you can. It's because you can. We are constantly being challenged in life. But you've heard that saying, and I personally think this saying is kind of annoying, so the fact that I'm saying it to you is annoying. But you're only given like what you can handle. I believe this rings true. I believe this rings true in the month of January for you. Okay, so hang in there, guys. You're almost there, and it's going to be worth it. So the next card is the Three of Pentacles. So I want to just bring something up right away. I felt something right away when I saw this card, and I know for a fact that this is not going to apply to everybody. But when I saw this card, I immediately thought of home renovation. I don't know. I just thought of it right away, home renovation. So there is the possibility, and again, I know this doesn't apply to all of you guys. This might be a very specific message for some people out there. If you have been trying to purchase a home, for instance, right? And you've been working really hard to be able to get to a spot financially where you can afford to do that. And you feel like, oh my gosh, I can't afford this. I can't afford a house. I would encourage you guys to expand your horizons a little bit. Think outside of the box. Maybe you're looking at turnkey homes that are just way too expensive. For some reason, I don't know. Again, I know this is a very specific message, and I try not to be too specific when it comes to general readings. But I need to tell some of you guys who are trying to get into home ownership this year and who really want a property of your own that you should possibly consider looking at getting a fixer-upper. Okay? It just really, there's this thing about it. And some of you, you may have no idea how to get into a DIY project, but maybe consider looking at a place that needs, just maybe more cosmetic fixes, new flooring, walls painted, new appliances in the kitchen, that type of thing. Things that make the purchase price of the house less, but allow you to put some work in there. And you guys, I just not too long ago did some cosmetic work on a house that I had bought for pretty inexpensive amount. And I had no experience with remodeling a house or anything like that. But literally, it was mainly a bunch of cosmetic stuff. I was able to, look up online and find material on the cheap, and I made that house look really good and ended up flipping that house for like a relatively good profit. So it's doable. If it's doable for me and it's just me by myself, it's doable for you guys. And I feel like you would get a lot of satisfaction and pleasure out of seeing that project follow through. Whatever the case is, like I said, that is a very specific scenario for some of you guys. But whatever the case is, even if this is in work, with the World card coming to completion, you've been, working really hard. You're finally getting recognition. Maybe you're getting that promotion. Be aware with the Three of Pentacles that whatever kind of position you're taking on next, or if you have a higher position, you are going to feel very proud of the work you do, and you're going to continue to get recognition for it. Meaning, it's the type of work that people will actually be able to visually see, right? It's the type of work that people would be able to see and evaluate and appreciate and acknowledge you for that. The Three of Pentacles is sometimes referred to as the architect card, right? It's about working on a creative project, something that other people can visually see and have respect for. Great card, very interesting, and I feel like, yeah, again, if you take a look at the card, it's showing someone, working really hard on a project, but it's not this energy. It's not the Ten of Rods, because, the Ten of Rods is like, oh my gosh, I can't handle this anymore. I'm too tired. Whereas the Three of Pentacles is right at home working on this project. Literally, this person might be right at home, very creative, enjoys creating something beautiful. So, last card here that you have for the month of January is the Six of Cups. Six of Cups denotes almost kind of like childlike memories, memories from childhood, Usually, like it denotes like happy memories, like kind of like a return to a past. Some of you may be spending a lot of time with family right now, which would make sense because it's all around the holidays, so that makes sense. Some of you could be taking a trip back home to visit family and visiting a place that holds a lot of good memories and nostalgia for you. It also means Six of Cups can also denote that if you feel like you've been treated unfairly anyway, then those circumstances even out. Okay? So I guess that could kind of make sense in like a work sense where you feel like you've been, working your butt off, and not getting recognition for it. It does denote that if you feel like you've been treated unfairly for any reason, that you're no longer going to feel like that. The Cups is a happy card. It's a good card. It's filled with, good childlike feelings, childlike memories, childlike nostalgia. How it fits into this reading, I have no idea. I mean, some of you, it just doesn't seem to like go along with the other things. Who knows? I mean, maybe if some of you guys are purchasing a home, maybe it's a home that reminds you of kind of like, maybe a childhood home that you lived in. Maybe the concept or the design of the house is reminds you of, family and good childhood memories. Again, I mean, it doesn't have to be like, with the rest of the theme. It could be something that's just going on with you. It could be something just going on with your life in general right now, spending time with family, having good memories and making good memories. Also, if you have children, your children could be really important to you right now in kind of showing you how to remember what it's like to be a child, right? Looking through the eyes of a child. I tell you what, if anything relieves the stress of a Ten of Rods, it's enjoying the aspects of spending holidays with a child. I mean, it helps you revisit it, right? If I were to, for Easter, go paint Easter eggs by myself, I'd be like, okay, I'm painting Easter eggs, whatever, done it a million times. However, if I had a youngster that I was painting Easter eggs with, there's just their excitement and just seeing it in their eyes and feeling it emit from them brings you back to that place and reminds you of like how good life is, right? So a lot of you might be feeling like really close to your kids right now and getting that sense of happiness and fulfillment from your children, from making your children happy. Okay. I would like to honestly, I'm just curious. I'm curious about the Six of Cups. I really am, Aries. So I'm going to go ahead and pull a clarifier for this card and see if we can get any more information on it. Sometimes I'm a little bit too curious. Maybe you guys know exactly what it has to do with and exactly how it fits into the picture. I notice that a lot when I do readings for people. Like I may not understand why a card is appearing in a certain position at a certain time, but the person I'm doing the reading for, once I explain what the card means, knows exactly. They know exactly what it's about. But I'm just curious, so I'm going to go ahead and pull a clarifier. All right, what do we got here? Page of Air. Logical, honest, impulsive, and curious. So here's what it looks like. Let's see what it says here. Challenging information, delays or changes to plans, truth delivered without tact. What does that have to do with the Six of Cups? Challenging information. Delays or changes to plans. This one's tough, you guys. It's kind of embarrassing to be on camera and be like, what the heck? Pages can also represent children. They're youngsters. Pages are youngsters. Impulsive and curious. Interesting. I'm going to pull another one. I'm going to pull another one, you guys. Something's just not resonating. I don't usually have this happen very often where I just can't wrap my head around it. I can't feel it out. Six of Cups and Page of Air. More information, please. We need more information. Knight of Fire. Passionate, adventurous, self-assured, restless. A sudden event that needs immediate attention. Time is of the essence. Think things through carefully. You guys are getting you're getting some type of message or information coming through, possibly towards the end of the month, where this information, the way that it's presented, might not be presented in the best way. I feel like it's kind of like maybe suddenly like thrown at you and you're supposed to be like, whoa, what the heck? But definitely something that you're going to have to make a quick decision on. It could potentially be in regards to family. A sudden event that needs immediate attention. Time is of the essence. Changes to plans. You guys, yeah, I feel like something is coming in that's just like sudden information where you're going to have to figure out what to do with it. Something that has you kind of considering things that have happened in the past with the Six of Cups. The way that things have made you feel in the past will be part of this decision that you have to make. And it could very well be in regards to family. Now, I don't know, I can't tell you specifically what that is, and especially for the fact that this is a general reading, there's very specific messages coming out in this reading. It's really interesting. I don't want you guys to sit there, this month and think about, okay, what kind of information am I going to get in? Also, you're looking at what could possibly be different people. The Page of Air is like a younger person, perhaps maybe even like a younger family member. A younger family member that you have to make some kind of decision about. If you have kids, your kid might approach you with some kind of question that you weren't prepared for. But I mean, if anything, you guys are a fire sign. You are the Knight of Fire. So you can handle this. You can handle it quickly. You can handle it efficiently. Interesting. So, generally, Aries, you're going to have some questions for the month of January. You're going to feel like a little bit helter-skelter here and there, but what's new, right? That's life. I mean, we have cycles like that, but I also see some of that uncertainty and some of those things that are kind of pending and hanging in the air coming to fruition, coming to a closure to where you have some clear answers in order to progress and move forward this month. And so all in all, yeah, is there going to be a little bit of confusion this month? Yeah, there is a little bit, but you're also going to get some answers that you've been wanting at the same time as well. And you're going to be able to make good, decisive decisions in regards to those things that come up in the month of January. Very interesting. If you guys would like to leave a comment to let me know how this pans out for you, I would be very, very interested. So, what I'm going to do in regards to the advice card this month is I'm actually using a different guidance deck in honor of the earth energy that's coming in for 2020. This is from a deck called Earth Magic, and it's phenomenal. It's a phenomenal deck. And I love the illustrations, but what I love the most about it is actually the way that the author in the deck describes, just the way that he writes, the way that he just breaks everything up and makes it make sense. The words, the wording that he uses, I think it's just phenomenal. All right. Let's take a look and see what you got, Aries. Volcano. Volatility. Sorry about this, you guys. These cards are like really glossy. Volcano. So interesting. So I'm going to go ahead and find it in the book and read directly from the book to you guys. So bear with me. If I could find the meaning, that would be super cool right now. You guys are just sitting there watching me like while I kind of like thrum through the book. Okay, here we go. I found it. I found it. All right. Volatility. Pele is the goddess who lives on the big island of Hawaii, dwelling there in the craters of the active volcano. She's considered passionate, volatile, and capricious, and is perhaps the best known of the panoply of Hawaiian deities. Since 1983, she has been sending ribbons of lava down the mountainside and into the sea, thereby creating new land. In this image, we see her subtle visage in the spewing fire of the volcano. In ancient Hawaiian chants, Pele is described as she who shapes the sacred land. And it's from this magnificent and powerful goddess being and her periodic eruptions that new earth is formed as the resulting lava merges with her sister, the goddess of the sea, Na Makakoele. I think. The volatile and unpredictable nature of volcanic eruptions is widely known, and in spite of science's efforts at forecasting these blowups, they sometimes happen without warning. Whether the eruptions are slow and steady or violent and explosive, it's an unstoppable force. In one very dramatic way, nature changes and shapes the land. Interesting. So let's go ahead and see what the advice aspect of this card is. It says, this is a particularly volatile time for you. Unexpected changes, sometimes quite sudden and dramatic, are occurring in ways that you have absolutely no control over. These occurrences may be so powerful as to shake up what you formerly thought of as the foundations of your security. They may even cause you to reassess the direction of your life is taking, to question some of your relationships, or to reevaluate the work you have chosen. Although these events may rock your world, know that spirit is the guiding force behind them. It is a matter of finding your trust that life knows what it is doing in the midst of these storms of change. It also requires you to make adjustments quickly and not to cling to what was, but instead move forward. Welcome with your arms wide open what is yet to come, all from a place of being present in this moment. You truly have nothing to fear. Wow. Aries, I have like full body chills right now. Like, ooh. Mm-hmm. Life is about to change, baby. I get it. Okay. I get this now. Whatever some of whatever kind of decision or something that you're going to have to make coming up here, Aries, is going to shake up what you thought was the emotional. It's emotionally going to shake you up. Your foundations, the things that you learned as a child. Something's asking you to leave some of that behind. That's that's bittersweet. I know what that feels like. I mean, that's kind of life, right? Isn't it a little bit? We're always letting go of different aspects of ourself, right? As we continue to grow and evolve and mature. There's pieces of us that we're letting go, and it's not comfortable, but it's needed in order to progress and move forward. It's all good. It's all good, Aries. You guys are definitely going to be coming into your own. You're going to have some challenges, but you're going to find the answers you've been looking for. You're going to come to the answers you've been looking for, and you're going to make the decisions that need to be made because that's what you do. I love you guys so much. I'm very, very interested in seeing what happens with you guys and seeing how this progresses. I know it's going to be a different circumstance for each one of you, but yeah, I'm really interested. I wanted to let you guys know too, as well, that I will be accepting personal readings beginning effective January 1st. And all the information about how to order a personal reading from me is going to be in the About section on my YouTube homepage. So check that out if you're looking for something a little bit more specific and some more specific information, or if you are just wanting to like talk something through. Okay? Because again, this is a very volatile month for you, but a lot's going to happen. A lot's going to happen for you. And let me tell you what, I would prefer voluntary, the voluntary, not voluntary, volatility. I would prefer that over stagnation and continuing to like run in place. Yeah, there's definitely going to be some clarification this month. There's going to be endings of cycles, and there's going to be decisions, quick decisions on how to move forward and where to take that energy. All right. Well, I love you guys. Happy January. I'll see you next time, okay?